I'm back, is what the greatest quarterback in Panthers history said yesterday when he ran it in the end zone and he scored on his first play back in a Panthers uniform, and the Panthers went off 34-10, and they're back in the playoffs, baby. What's going on? It's primetime Carolina. I am your host, Tanner Blue. I am with your co-host, Dave LaFave. I am pumped up. What's going on, man?
Tanner, you seem excited, man. You seem a little excited.
I just brought the heat right there.
Man, well, I think you're speaking for all of us. We're all kind of on cloud nine right now. Yesterday, man, that felt like a dream. I had to pinch myself, man.
Man, I felt the exact same way. Like none of this past, like ever since Wednesday or Thursday, nothing has felt real about anything Panthers related.
Dude, if you just think back to where we were a week ago at this point, it is just bananas. Like we were ready to throw the season away. We couldn't have been more dejected. And now here we are rocking our Cam Newton jerseys, which we never thought we'd be able to do again. And now all of a sudden here he is coming to be our starting quarterback in this next game. So this is just it's crazy, man. And it's amazing because when they said they would use him in short yardage situations or whatever, when they said they had a package for him, the one thing everybody thought was, man, if they could just find a way to get that ball to the 1 yard line and let Cam Newton score a touchdown on his first game back. And then they did it twice in the first quarter on the first two possessions. So, man, hats off to the defense, hats off to PJ Walker getting him down there. And, hats off to the coaching staff for putting Cam Newton in a position to really just re-energize this fan base. So yesterday was an amazing day in Panthers history.
For me, this is easily a top 10 Panthers game for me. And unfortunately for the Cardinals, they are in two of my top 10 Panthers games of all time. But yeah, this definitely is up there in the greatest moments, and this is probably the best moment the Panthers have had since the NFC Championship against the Cardinals. I will say that. I think this is the most hype I've been since then.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. There were some moments in 2017 that were pretty good, but yeah, this is definitely up there.
So, I mean, we've got so much to get into. So I hope everybody strap in because this is gonna be a damn good show right here. First off, obviously, if you didn't know, if you've been living under a rock, Cam Newton is back with the Panthers, and I want credit for this, me and you, because we've been predicting this for the past couple weeks. How it made zero sense how the Panthers wouldn't even give this man a call, wouldn't even give him a look, wouldn't even offer him a 1-year deal for $1, wouldn't do anything. And all of a sudden, one day, I'm at work. I get a text from you saying the Panthers are supposed to meet up with Cam Newton. And before you know it, a couple hours later, he was signed back, and everything was right in the world again. Cam Newton's back on the Panthers. Just like that, everybody's wondering, hey, is he going to play this week? Is he going to start? Doesn't start, but he plays. His first two touches he gets, he scores 2 touchdowns. The Panthers steamroll the Arizona Cardinals. Granted, they had a backup quarterback. Absolutely steamroll them at home. Panthers are back in the last spot for the playoffs, and all of a sudden we were down here at the bottom. Now we're all the way back up at the top. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, we can't, say it enough just how insane this past week has been. And yeah, man, it started on Thursday, and here we are. And it's just the difference in our outlook on the season between a week ago and now is just amazing because, like you said, we're in that last playoff spot right now. We still have a shot at winning this division. We're only, I think, a game behind maybe 2 games behind the Bucs now. I mean, everything is still on the table for us, and it's just crazy. So it's going to be real interesting to see what, this coaching staff can do with Cam Newton coming in and how well he can translate and get acclimated and find his role as the quarterback of this team. If he can come in and rekindle some of that old Cam Newton magic like we saw in this game, it's going to be real. It's going to be a real fun rest of the season. And one of the things I said when I made that video on Friday or Saturday night was watch the team's energy. because it felt like the team was going to come out juiced for this game. And, man, did they. Everybody was hyped. Everybody was excited. Everybody was playing with an energy we haven't seen probably all season. Definitely not since maybe week 2 against the Saints. It was amazing to see what one player could do coming onto a team and just getting everybody to play at a higher level. It was just, I mean, there almost aren't even words to describe it because it was just insane to see.
It was unlike anything I've ever experienced or at least in a long time watching a football game. So we've got so many different things to talk about. Let's just go ahead and start, obviously, with the game itself. So, coming into this game, we know Cam Newton's coming back. Everyone's pumped. Everyone's excited. It's all anyone can think about. But P.J. Walker played most of the snaps. He did start. I will say this. Cam Newton got all the love and the glory. Shout out to P.J. Walker. He did a very, very, very good job yesterday. The one interception he threw was just barely off by a hair. I can't really fault him for that. He commanded the offense very well. He did a very good job controlling the football. And he did what he needed to do. And Christian McCaffrey is back to being Christian McCaffrey. It's great to see that. The receivers, Robert Anderson with a career high 2 catches in a game. I mean, what the hell was going on? I was losing my mind. DJ Moore was looking good. The defense coming out, just look at that defense right there. That's the defense that we know that we can be. That's a top tier defense, elite defense right there.
Yeah. Well, I'm watching the defense play yesterday, and I'm like, this is the first time in weeks this defense has played like they feel like they have a shot at winning. And it's really interesting to see because, like you said, P.J. Walker played so well yesterday. It makes it really hard to believe that there was really any type of he had any type of shot at that starting job because I think we saw yesterday if he was given the opportunity to battle with Sam Darnold for that spot, he would have won because Sam Darnold hasn't done anything close to what P.J. Walker did yesterday.
No, I mean, just the accuracy and the way, just the play calling.
The decisiveness, Tanner, from P.J. Walker yesterday.
This man stepped up in the pocket and delivered some lasers and got smashed a couple times. Didn't care. Just stepped up and made the throws, and they were there. Couldn't ask for anything better from your backup quarterback.
Yeah. And, like you said, I mean, obviously we're going to talk about Cam Newton a lot and all that this game was, and this was really a Cam Newton, return game and all that. But P.J. Walker played a great game. The defense played an outstanding game. Christian McCaffrey had a very good game. So, credit where credit's due. The whole team just came out with, like we said, an energy that we haven't seen in weeks, maybe all season.
And you know who else gets an even bigger shout out? Zane freaking Gonzalez. This man was an absolute monster. Yes. What do you have, like 4 field goals?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, he was and these were all like 40 yarders. And I mean, these weren't chip shots in today's NFL where anyone can miss any kick. They can miss PATs. This man, who I think he used to play for the Cardinals, actually, his former team.
Sure did.
He played a hell of a game. I think the Panthers are feeling confident with their kicker situation for the first time in a long time. Also, shout out to – it was the Hassan Reddick revenge game.
Yeah.
Coming back into Arizona with the strip sack, playing some good football. He was no one-year fluke. This man is legit. He has instantly become the best pass rusher on this team all season. And – man, he was electric. I can't say any negative about anybody, even the coaches, man. This was a flat-out A-plus performance from everybody. No complaints.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was good to see the offense, man. They ran the ball so effectively. I think Christian McCaffrey was averaging like 7 yards a carry or something ridiculous. And then obviously he caught 10 passes. I mean, we were just firing on all cylinders yesterday. It was just awesome to see what kind of team we can be when we play the way we're capable of. And, bringing in Cam Newton, that adds so much excitement to that because if we can keep that consistency, and he talks about all the time, he talked about in his pressers, holding everyone accountable and everybody holding each other accountable. And if this team can hold each other accountable so they're always playing their best football, they're going to be a tough team to beat if, they find a way into the playoffs, which, right now they're in a position to do.
Absolutely. So, A-plus performance for the Panthers. I mean, and after this team, they've been through a lot this year in terms of ups and downs and things like that. So it was really good to see him finally put it together. I know everyone in the locker room was probably, they were ecstatic, man. It's been a long time since they probably felt that good about a victory. So, shout out to those guys. They definitely needed it. And now I have to bring up, we have pummeled Joe Brady all season. Give this man a halfway competent quarterback. He looks like a completely different play caller all of a sudden.
Yeah, it was good to see the offense be so productive, but I also think it goes back to in the past few weeks they've really made that commitment to running the ball. And I think with Cam Newton coming in, you can add that read option into it. It's only going to get better. And I think this team is by far a better running team than passing team. At least, for their offensive line, they're built to run the ball, not pass the ball. And I think as long as they stay committed to that, they're going to be in a good position moving forward. And I think Joe Brady's kind of found his stride with that. I think obviously having, a half decent quarterback makes a huge difference because what we've seen from Sam Darnold has just been such indecisiveness, so much inconsistency back there that it's just like, how can you get any kind of rhythm going on offense? And we saw it last week with the Patriots game. As soon as they had something going, he throws a pick six. And you just can't have that. And so, yeah, you're right. To see a quarterback come in and play effectively, it was like we were a completely different team. Getting the ball out on time, not putting the offensive line in a bad position so that they're giving up sacks. They didn't give up a sack the whole game. So it was just, I mean, hats off to everybody. It was just a heck of a game all around for the Panthers.
Absolutely. And I want to mention two guys real quick. We've got obviously this team is way more effective when they run the football, and that's what you want whenever you come down near the back stretch of the season. You want good defensive running the football. Well, the Panthers, they check all the boxes in those two categories. Cam Newton got his runs. Christian McCaffrey got his runs. Shout out to Chuba Hubbard and Amir Abdullah. I know Chuba did have a fumble, but he ran the ball hard. He scored a touchdown. And Amir Abdullah, man, I love when this guy, he's like Christian McCaffrey light. Like when he gets the ball in space, he's super quick. I love this guy. No matter what happens with the season, I would love for him to try to come back next season. He's an excellent compliment to these guys. I think he was a really, really good signing.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a piece moving forward, I would think. I mean, he's such an explosive player, and if you can get him out in space, obviously with Christian McCaffrey and Cam Newton doing what they do, if you can get some kind of backside screen where he's got room to maneuver out there with some, a couple of blockers, he can make big plays for sure, and I think he has the potential to be a real contributor moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, offense was great. Defense we've talked about it. They were spectacular. Other than Cam Newton, they were easily my favorite part of this football game. Just getting after the quarterback. And, dude, Shaq Thompson, is this the same guy from the past, 6 years?
Dude,
Like, I swear to God, it's a
Shaq
different
Thompson's
guy.
a different breed, man. Number 7 Shaq Thompson is not the same as number 54 Shaq
This
Thompson.
man, if he started out with number 7, if they let them do that when his career started, he would legit be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That is how well this man is playing football right now. It's insane.
I know it's crazy. I don't know what happened to him this year, but he is not the same player we've seen in the past. So I
I
guess
mean,
he's been
he
putting the
was
work
just
in, and finally matured into who he's finally living up to that first round draft pick. I'll say that.
I mean, yeah, I mean and I could be wrong. Correct me if I am. I don't know if you know, but I think they said in the offseason he put on a little bit of some muscle because he was always like a pretty slender,
Yeah.
fast
He
type back.
seems a little bigger.
He looks a little bigger, and that must have did something for him because this man is absolutely smashing people in the mouth when he hits them. It's insane.
Dog,
Um,
that blitz where he injured McCoy, that was crazy the way he timed that up. He was in there in like I don't think it was even 2 seconds, was it? It was absurd.
and the defensive line was amazing. The pass rush, good as usual, and man, the run. Man, and James Conner, I think he led the league in rushing touchdowns coming into this game. He did get one touchdown late, but for the most part, Panthers shut that run game down all game long.
Yeah,
They shut it down.
Absolutely, and they really set the tone, I think, in the beginning of the game. Once they got that first turnover, and obviously Cam Newton scored that touchdown, and then the Cardinals got the ball back again and decided to go for it on fourth down, deep in their own territory. I think they're around the 40-yard line. I can't remember exactly, but once we, got that stop on defense, the momentum was completely in our favor, and we just never gave it back up. And, just really ran away with the game from then on out.
And then this guy, he's in a contract year, Dante Jackson. He's really going to make it hard for the Panthers to let him walk away because he is playing some very good football right now. And I know they got Stephon Gilmore they got to re-sign. They want to re-sign Dante Jackson. It's going to be a tough offseason, but man, he's playing really, really good football right now. Everything he's done, we've been so hard on him because we know how good he could be. This year, he's finally living up to that hype, being a ball hawk, making plays, tipping passes, making tackles, just being aggressive. He's really, really had a very, very good season. Definitely worthy of a contract that he's going to get.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And I would be surprised if they didn't give him that contract. But it's going to be tough because there's a lot of guys coming up who need contracts. Obviously, you have, those two guys, Jackson and Gilmore, but then you also have Hassan Reddick and you have DJ Moore. And there's just a lot of guys who need their contracts coming up soon. Cam Newton's going to be coming up at the end of the season, right? So it's going to be interesting to see if we can find a way to keep everybody. Obviously, we'd love to because this team is exciting as can be. But, at the end of the day, guys want their money and it's a business. So we'll see, who they keep around and who they let go. But it's going to be an interesting offseason.
Also, at the end of the day, this is a great situation for the Panthers to finally have cap space for the first time since I was born. I think we've got over $50 million in cap space. That alone should be worth maybe one guy can be left out, but they should be able to bring back most of these guys.
Yeah, wow. I didn't realize it was that much. That's going into next season?
Yeah, they should have like over $50 million in cap. They're a lot of dead money's falling off this year. So
yeah, I know they had a lot of money tied up into nothing. Of course, I guess they still will after next year. Do you know? I know they say that they're locked in for Sam Darnold's fifth-year option. Do you know if there's a way out of that? Because I feel like I've heard there's some kind of loophole where they can get rid of it before June 1st or whatever.
I'm sure there is. I have no doubt in my mind they'll probably at least try to find that loophole or whatever and flip him for like a 6th or 7th round pick or something. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm sure they'll have something lined up.
Everyone says it like they don't have a choice but to pay it now, but I feel like I've heard there's some way out of it, but I guess we'll see. If there's a way out of it, I'm sure they'll use it.
I'm sure they will. But yesterday was absolutely incredible. Dude, top 10 Panthers game for me, man. It was when Cam got in the game on the goal line, I'm already losing my mind.
Yeah.
And then I got this year, a bunch of me and my friends, we're all Panthers fans. We're like, we got to get together and watch the game. It hasn't really happened yet, other than the games I went to. Well, as soon as he got signed, everybody was like, yeah, we're all getting together and watching this game. Mm-hmm. So we're all in the room together. He snaps the ball, which was a bad snap, and he almost didn't even know how he got out of it. Runs in the end zone in the corner. Man, you would have thought that I just won the freaking lottery. I was hugging, jumping around, high five. I mean, it was nuts, man.
I'm telling you. I was definitely jumping up and down, man, because it literally doesn't feel real, because just it's literally something you daydream about. Like, literally a week ago, we sat here and we're like, dude, why in the world would the Panthers not call Cam Newton? And then from the moment that they call him, the team is completely re-energized, and it just Cam said it after the game. You couldn't make up a better lie. There is no way you could write this in a script and Hollywood would buy it, because it just is ridiculously unreal what's happening right now. And then he scores on his first 2 touches. I mean, I don't know what Panthers fans did to deserve this gift, but we'll ride it.
Suck for a long time.
Yeah, I guess all our suffering is finally paid off, and we've been given a gift from the football gods.
But man, it just unreal circumstances. And I think I told someone yesterday, I was like, man, I know what it feels like when the Bulls, when Jordan left and then he
Yeah.
wrote that letter saying he was back. I know what that feels like now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's probably the only thing in sports that this could even compare to.
Exactly. So it was, an amazing game. No matter what happens the rest of the season, we'll always at least have this one moment knowing that this did happen, and it was just a very cool moment.
Yeah. If nothing else, this was like the coolest thing that we could have possibly imagined. And how cool is it going to be on Sunday when they announce Cam Newton's name at Bank of America Stadium as a starter? Dude,
the stadium might literally fall apart.
it is going to be just an absolutely special moment. Just something you see in a movie almost.
And I'm really so I really want to go to this game. I'm trying to figure it out with some of my friends now. I know you mentioned that you want to go if you can get well. Tickets are going up in price, but I mean, for an event like this, it's tough to pass up even for the money. But Washington fans, they travel super well, and before the Panthers came into town, this was a Washington, area for football fans because it was the closest team. But these tickets have been bought up. I know there's going to be a lot of Redskins fans there. Sorry, I'm still calling them the Redskins. I have no doubt BOA is going to be packed full of Panthers fans this Sunday. It's going to be straight black and blue everywhere.
Probably for the first time all season too.
Which,
every game this year there's been a ton of visiting teams fans up in that stadium. And it's because the fans haven't really had much to be excited about. Even when we were winning, it was like we were winning with Sam Darnold and we were beating bad teams. So, yeah.
What was it a couple, when Cam was in his prime, we had a record where we won like an insane amount of home games in a row. I can't remember exactly what it was. I'd have to look it up. But there was that like 2013 to 2015, 16, like Panthers didn't lose at home for a long time. Like Bank of America was a tough place to play.
Well, I guess it would have started, second half of 2014 going into 2015, all through 2015. And then we would have lost sometime in 2016, I guess. I don't remember exactly. But
dude, they better black out the end zones for this weekend.
I'm telling you, man.
So speaking about, this weekend, the opponent, obviously we're playing the Washington football team. I know they just beat the Bucks. Now we'll get into the playoff picture and the divisional look at things. Panthers are not out of this by a long shot. Okay, the Bucks just lost. That puts them at 6-3, 6-4. I think 6-3. The Bucks, their defense, they've got a lot of injuries right now. They've got a lot of injuries, and I think that's why Washington gave them such a handful. Is because, Taylor Heinicke, he's not a franchise guy, but that guy can go out. He can make some plays. He can sling the ball. Washington's got guys on offense. They've got a great running game. They've got receivers. They're not scrubs. I know the record isn't all that good, but they can put up points. Their defense, surprisingly, has been very bad this year. And unfortunately, Chase Young is tore his ACL, so he'll be out Sunday. So, the way things are looking now, I expect the Panthers to win this game, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk like people think it will be. And I think they're going to be ready.
Well, I think as bad as we want the Panthers to come out here and just dominate and have a special game for Cam Newton's return, I think Ron Rivera wants to win this game as bad as, we want to win it. So I imagine he'll come in with a good game plan. Obviously Chase Young got hurt, so that's a big loss for the football team. But I don't know, man. If we get some, 2015 type energy, we could run away with it, but you never know in the NFL. We saw however many games on Sunday that were absolute blowouts. Last week we saw the Jaguars beat the Bills. You never know what's going to happen. It's a week-to-week league for sure.
All I'm going to say is this. The Panthers are catching fire at the right time, and that's all it takes when you start to get to the end of the season. I'm not saying this is a Super Bowl team. I'm not saying this is even a playoff team. But if they can play the way they're playing right now, they can beat any team in this league. If they can play like I understand they played a backup quarterback, but if Cam Newton can play well enough, the defense can play lights out like they've been playing. This is a team that you don't want to match up with. If I'm looking at other opponents, they don't want to match up with the Panthers right now. With a team with energy like that and a defense like that, guys getting healthy, that's a team that I don't think a lot of people are going to want to face.
No, absolutely not. Nobody's going to want to face this team if, they squeak into the playoffs. Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, that's enough right there. But then you throw on top of that a defense that's right there with the best defenses in the league. And, look at our secondary, man. And these teams at the top of the NFC, the Packers, the Cardinals, Cowboys, Bucks, Rams, even, all these teams put a real emphasis on passing the ball. And we have the secondary that can match up with anybody. We have a pass rush that can get after anybody. So I don't think anybody is hoping they pull the Panthers come wild card round.
No, because they were expecting the Sam Darnold-led Panthers, not the Cam Newton-led Panthers.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, whenever the Panthers, would, make the playoffs, we go up against some of these 1 or 2 seeds, you just would see the receivers that they would have. And we've never had the secondary ever until this season to match up with those guys. We've always been, hey, if our defensive line isn't getting pressure, we're toast. And unfortunately, that's never really been able to pan out. But you look at a team like these teams here, the Packers, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, the Bucks, the Rams, they've got weapons. We've got guys that can match up and play man coverage, can play zone, and we've got guys that can get up to the quarterback. I'm telling you, man, if this team gets hot like they are right now, this is a team that no one is going to want to play. It's going to be a bad matchup.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen what can happen when Cam Newton gets the team going and feeling themselves. And honestly, I think it's fair to say this team is overall more talented than the 2015 team. So
Yeah.
if he can do what he did with that team, there's no reason he can't do something special with this team.
People forget that in 2017, 2018,
2017.
whenever the Panthers were 6-2. And
2018, yeah.
Yeah. So Panthers were 6-2, Christian McCaffrey's rookie year or second year or whatever. DJ Moore's rookie year. The Panthers were playing really, really good football. Cam Newton wasn't MVP Cam Newton, but that was okay because he was playing a well-balanced game. He was still running the ball, but his system with Norv Turner, the way he was throwing the ball, he was accurate. He was making throws when he needed to. I mean, he was the type of guy that you would like to see, when he's not being super athletic. He was being very accurate with the football. And people forget, obviously after the TJ Watt hit to the shoulder, it was over after that. But before that, Cam Newton was playing really good football. And I saw one of his vlogs because now that, he's back on the team, he's been putting up a bunch of stuff. And I watched that video about his shoulder. He basically said his shoulder hasn't been completely healthy since like 2016, week 1.
Yeah.
Which is when we played the Broncos.
Well, he originally injured that shoulder. I mean, I guess it could have been against the Broncos, but I think that Chargers game where he threw that interception because Kelvin Benjamin didn't come back to the ball. Casey Hayward took it back like 100 yards, and then Cam went to dive for him before he got in the end zone, and I know he hurt his shoulder on that play too. So It's been more than once he's hurt that shoulder. But, yeah, like you were saying, the reason I brought up 2017 is I thought you were about to talk about how he took that team to the playoffs, which that team really didn't have much business being in the playoffs.
No, they didn't.
The defense was pretty good. They weren't dominant. And then on the offensive side of the ball, they had a rookie Christian McCaffrey, and then they had Devin Funchess, Brenton Burson, Russell Shepard, Mose Frazier, Kalen Cole, or is that his name? Kalen Clay.
Kalen Clay, yeah.
They had all these no-name receivers. And I was thinking the other day, man, if you put a list together of receivers who quit playing with Cam Newton and then just fell off forever, that list would be a mile long.
Yep.
So you had that year. And then, like you said, 2018, they came back and they were having a really good year. They were 6-2. And like you said, Cam got hurt. And then after that, he never really came back the same way. 2019, he only played 2 games because he was dealing with injury that year. I think that was his ankle mostly that year. But I think, like you said, the shoulder was still lingering. So that was the whole Kyle Allen year, which was, as painful as can be. And then, 2020, that's when they moved on from him. And he went to New England, and we rocked with Teddy Bridgewater. And in New England, he was a lot better than he gets credit for, man. I know he had 12 interceptions to 8 passing touchdowns, but once you throw in his 12 rushing touchdowns, he had 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, 21 touchdowns if you count his receiving touchdown, 21 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. If those were all throwing touchdowns, nobody would bat an eye at it. They would say he had a great season in New England. And again, in New England, he didn't have weapons there either. Tight end position was a mess. Jacoby Myers was their best receiver. Jacoby Myers just scored his first touchdown on Sunday. So, this guy's been working with nothing for most of his career and still managing to find success. This is by far the most talent he's ever had at the receiver position. He's got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield along with, Abdullah and Hubbard. I think we're going to see Tommy Trimble really take off with Cam Newton throwing him the ball. And then obviously, like we said a million times, that defense, when they're playing the way they can play to the best of their ability, they are a scary, scary bunch. So there are a lot of reasons why Panthers fans should be optimistic moving forward, and we will see what happens.
Man, I'm pumped. I think this train's going to keep rolling. I think the Panthers, I don't know what's going to happen on Sunday, but I know one thing, it's probably going to be a W. And the Panthers, they're getting hot at the right time. So I think we're going to win this Sunday. And I hope to God I make it to Charlotte because it's going to be electric. It's going to be crazy, the atmosphere that's going to be out there in the city.
Yeah, this is going to be, one of those moments, man, that you just don't want to miss. This is going to be a highlight in Panthers history. It's got to be, right?
It's got to be. They need to come out. Actually, no, I'm not going to say that because every time we come out in the All Blacks, we always lose.
Well, that's true, but I mostly just mean the fact that Cam Newton will be back in general.
I was just thinking, are they actually going to wear the All Blacks? I just randomly thought of that. I thought it would be cool.
I've heard that, yes, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I've seen them wear the All Blues one time. That was cool, but I've never seen the All Blacks. But I just want to take this time real quick to, there's been so many discussions about did the Panthers make the right decision to, let Cam Newton walk and this and that. I think the Panthers organization, is catching a lot of flack for not re-signing him. And I'm not trying to defend them, but I want to kind of explain it from their perspective. People were, why didn't you bring back? I was in the camp of bringing back Cam Newton as long as it was a smart team deal. And they gave him, if it could work between two parties, I was in favor of that. But at the same time, you have to look at it from the Panthers' perspective. New GM, new coaching staff, new everybody. They're going to want their own guy, especially a guy that's been injured the past 2 years, and they're not going to want to pay him a long-term contract. So whenever he didn't get re-signed and he walked, yes, I was pissed and I was mad, but I totally got it from the Panthers' perspective. They didn't make the right choice. Hindsight's 2020, but they've wronged that right. But I just want to say that a lot of people have been, what did the Panthers? They should have never let him go. Like, you have to understand it from that perspective at that time. And I think a lot of people aren't thinking about that.
Well, I think their whole thing was they were trying to rebuild this team. And there's just no way you can rebuild a team your way when the quarterback of your team is literally the team.
Right.
Cam Newton is the Carolina Panthers. When you think Carolina Panthers, you think Cam Newton. So I think they just wanted to rebuild things their way. And as time's going on, they realized they made a mistake. So here we are, 5-5 and a shot to make a run. So Let's see what
That's
happens.
That's right. And, I don't want to jump too far ahead in the future because God knows I don't know what's going to happen. That they could lose the rest of the games and that they could suck or they could go on a run. Let's say that the positives happen. Panthers make a run. Maybe they make a playoff run. They play well. This team with a good core don't need 2015 Cam Newton. They can get 2017, 2018 Cam Newton. They can beat anybody. He doesn't need to be the league's MVP. He's older now. He's 32 years old. But the good thing is that in this day and age, quarterbacks are playing a lot longer, a lot later in their careers. He's got the most weapons he's got. If they can build an O-line, I'm not trying to jump too far in the future, but if they could, prop this man up, he's got the best talent he's ever had, give him an O-line, keep this defense. I mean, there's no reason if he can play well, Cam Newton can be the quarterback for the next 3 to 4 years.
No, I agree. I mean, it only makes sense. Now you look at the team, the only thing that needs to be fixed is the offensive line. You can spend, your draft and whatever money you have left in your offseason after you re-sign your players, build up that offensive line, and your team's set to roll for the next 3 or 4 years to really contend for championships.
Exactly. And even if Cam Newton's not what he was, you always know that no matter what, when he's in the game, you've got a chance. He's just one of those guys that has that it factor that no matter what, he can play so bad, but when it comes down to it, he's gonna have a chance to win you the game.
And I'll say this, one of the reasons – oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's only a handful of guys like that in the league, and when you got one, you got to roll with them.
Yeah, absolutely. You always have a chance when Cam Newton's your quarterback, 100%. What I was going to say is Thomas Davis always credited the fact that his career lasted so long to his 3 ACL tears. The irony of the injuries was because he spent so much time in rehab, he wasn't on the field taking those hits. So his body didn't age as quick as everybody else around him. So at the end of his career, it added years to his career. So we could see a similar thing with Cam Newton going on, where the last few years he really hasn't played that much, but that means his body's not taking that hits. He's been able to rejuvenate himself and might be able to add some time to the end of his career.
Exactly. And like I was saying, this is the most weapons he's ever had of his whole career. I mean, you look at Tom Brady down there in Tampa Bay, a guy, he's, old as dirt, but God, he's got so many weapons and a good O-line around him. I mean, if the Panthers can keep the weapons and they can build up the O-line, he doesn't have to be running around everywhere. I've seen him. He can throw the ball effectively and then run when he needs to. He can do it.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do.
So, and I mean, looking at it right now, I don't know who the Saints have next week, but there's a good chance we win this game. We can take that number 6 spot, move up. Let's see who they got real quick.
Eagles.
Eagles it's in Philadelphia. That's not an easy win. And then, talking about the Bucs, their defense is really struggling right now. I'm never going to count out Tom Brady. God knows I've tried that too many times. It never works. But, the Panthers aren't out of this divisional race by any means. We've got the Bucs twice this season. If we can play how we can play, we can at least win one of those games. And, the Bucs, I don't think they have an easy schedule to finish the season. I don't think anyone does. But when the Panthers are playing like how they played this weekend, they can beat anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's we can't say it enough, dude. Just the energy that was brought to this team by one player this weekend was just absolutely amazing. And if they can keep it going moving forward, they have a chance to do something historic. So, and I know that's kind of putting my horses in front of the carriage. Wait, how does it go? Carriage in front of the horses. But, I don't know. It's hard not to think that way when you saw the way they played on Sunday, because that's the way they're capable of playing.
Exactly. So, so Cam's going to start on Sunday. I'm very interested to see how he looks. the couple passing plays he was in, he completed a couple, but they didn't really give him a chance to kind of really throw the ball downfield much. I think he had like one deep pass, but he just kind of came in and threw a couple plays here and there, nothing too major. But it's going to be exciting to see. Do you think he's going to get the full reps this weekend or this week, or you think you might see PJ Walker come in a little bit here and there?
I would expect Cam Newton to start and play the whole game. They've said that, yeah, he's going to get most of the first team reps in practice, which is typically how you treat the player who's going to be the starter and the player who's going to play the whole game. So I would anticipate Cam Newton playing the whole game.
Yeah. No, I agree. I anticipate him to play the whole game, and it's it's going to be Sunday is going to be must-see TV, or even if you're at the game, if you're not at the game, whatever you're doing, it's going to be nuts. I tell you, I had my Cam Newton jersey. I typically wear my blue one, but I'm wearing my old school one today. I went into to Lowe's Foods yesterday. I was getting some stuff for the game. I was going to grill out, wore my Cam Newton jersey in there. I kid you not, the first minute I was in there, I had 5 people come up to me like, dude, I can't believe he's back. Or you think he's gonna play? Dude, I'm so hyped. It just the electricity, just the feeling of just one man coming into a team, and just it's unreal. Just changing the whole dynamic of a team, a city, a state, 2 states, however you want to call it. It's unreal. Unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not the first person that I've heard stories like that. And there's a few Panthers fans, at work. And, the moment we saw each other on Friday, it was like, dude.
That's right.
It's just unbelievable, man. It's crazy how quickly we went from the bottom of the barrel, let's throw in the towel, quit on this season. And now all of a sudden, Charlotte, North Carolina is going to be the epicenter of the sports world on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just got to bring this up real quick because it doesn't really piss me off anymore, but it just is hilarious. You've got, for Cam's whole career, outside of the people that have watched, diehard Panthers fans that have watched the games, Cam Newton generally has been known as a showboat, all about himself. He doesn't care about anyone else. We all know that's total BS. Cam Newton has done so much for charity. He's done so much for people. He's an amazing person, a good guy. Yes, he likes to celebrate. So what? It's the NFL. This week, when we signed Cam Newton, I'm not going to say any names, but people I know were like, oh, I can't pull for the Panthers anymore. Oh, they brought this guy back. Have you seen what we've had the past couple of years since this man has been gone? And you're going to curse this man's name? It doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of bad hate out there for this man, and I just will never, ever, ever understand it.
Tanner, in a lot of cases, I think it's a lot deeper than football, but we won't really get into it, I guess.
Just, you might be right. It's just, man, it's tough to with what just happened, it's tough to hate on the man. I don't know. It's just ridiculous to me. I don't understand it.
The amount of people who just root against him all the time for no reason just makes his fans want to support him that much harder.
Exactly. When I hear people talk oh, he dresses why does this man dress the way he dresses? Why does he act the way he acts? I'm like, I don't care, but that's my guy. That's my quarterback. So I'm rolling with it.
A part of me just wants to tell them, I'm pretty sure it's just because he really enjoys how much it pisses you off.
Exactly.
Because, all he has to do is put on a funny hat and you start losing your mind. So, if I had that kind of power, I'd probably do something like that too.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers basically lied about, his vaccination. He didn't care. He comes back and plays this past week, just all his writings where he's like, I don't care what you have to say. I'm playing. Yeah. No one cared. He showed up and they won.
Yeah. It's funny how different the narratives can be just depending on who you are. But
It's nuts. And then just people like when I saw people online complaining about the 15-yard penalty he had whenever he scored, he took off his helmet. I was like, this man has been away from this team for like 2 years. This is where he played his whole career, basically. Won the MVP, been to the Super Bowl. He's emotional. He's hype. His first play, he scores a touchdown, and you want to complain because he celebrated a little bit and took off his helmet? Go jump off a cliff.
There was a play. I don't remember the year. It was like 2007, 2009-ish, like somewhere in there. And it was in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. That's what they used to call it. Do you know what game that is?
Was it the Rams Panthers game?
No, it's Georgia and Florida. That's what they used to call that matchup. That was the nickname.
Really?
But anyway, yeah. But anyway, on the first touchdown of the game, I believe it was No Sean Marino, dove over the goal line, scored the touchdown. Mark Rick had the whole team flood the field and celebrate in the end zone together. And of course, they got a 15-yard penalty, but it was a tone setter. It brought the energy. It set the bar for the rest of the game. They went on to win the game because they fed off that energy for the rest of the game. So I equivalate this play from Cam Newton the same way. It was a tone setter. Yeah, it cost us 15 yards, but then what happened? The defense was hyped up. They went out there and forced another turnover, and we went and scored again. So no harm, no foul.
And, exactly. And just absolute pettiness from people. Just absolutely ridiculous. Makes zero sense to me. I mean, what kind of moment would it have been if he just gave the ball to the ref and went and sat down?
I'm telling you.
It would have sucked. That's what
you.
would have happened.
And now we have an iconic moment for the season. How many times have you seen that meme, that replay?
Exactly. Exactly. It just makes perfect sense. And, I don't know. People are just being ridiculous, but I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. And
when people put that in their brain that they don't like somebody, that's just what they do. They find every reason to just keep not liking them.
Exactly. And I was looking for, I wanted to score I wanted to see the whole first down. I wanted to see the Superman. I even want him to do a freaking dab on the field. He didn't do that, but bring it all back. I want him to pull out all the stops. Maybe he's saving that for this
hey,
weekend.
Man, this is his last hurrah. We need it all. Give it all to us. And I'll say this, man. If Cam Newton comes in, takes over this team that was so low, and wills them into the playoffs, this might be Cam Newton's greatest act yet.
Oh, dude, this might be one of the best. I mean, I'm not going to say like best acts ever, but it's definitely a top tier moment for a quarterback.
Yeah.
As opposed to winning a Super Bowl, just a guy coming in complete, because this never really happened before. I mean, think about it. Like, if he takes us to the play, like, when has a guy just ever came in a situation like this, just off the street, like, oh yeah, I guess I'll come play again. Boom, plays well, and you take him to the playoffs. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a time where anything similar to this happened. I couldn't come up with anything.
I couldn't. And
that Michael Jordan thing's about as close as I can think of for anything, but
exactly. I mean, you're telling me right now, like, if all of a sudden, like, next season, like, Tom Brady just re-signed with the Patriots, he's like, I'm back, and they're not going to be excited, they're not going to be freaking out. Like, they would be so pumped. I mean, Mac Jones playing well, but, like, what do you expect?
Or if he retired and then the Patriots went 4-5, and then he came back and took them into the playoffs. Oh, my God, we would never hear the end about how great he was.
No, we wouldn't, but that's neither here nor there. But
that's a long way off. We still got a lot of games to win. So
they got a lot of games to win, and I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a good week of practice for them. I know everybody's going to be fired up, pumped up. Charlotte on Sunday is going to be it's going to be the place to be, and if you're not going to be there, that sucks.
You'll be missing out. You'll be missing out for sure.
You'll be missing out. Even if I can't get a ticket, I'm thinking about just going up there just to be in the city, to be around the game, just to watch, because it's going to be unreal.
That's facts.
So,
Facts. The energy will be palpable in the city.
absolutely. That's pretty much all I got, man. I could go on and on and on for days about this, but you know, Cam Newton, welcome home, brother. This is amazing. I love it. No matter what happens, this will always be a one of the top moments as a Panthers fan, for him coming back, and just the whole organization just making it right. You know, because everyone always thought he'd come back, but he'd be retired. They retire his number, but no one expected him to come back like this. And you know, just for shout out to this is a David Tepper move, and shout out to him for, you know, admitting that, you know, hey, I made a mistake. I'm going to put my best foot forward and put this team in a position to win. And that's what he did. He totally made his call for them to go sign him.
I believe that as well. I'm a little interested to see how the dynamic works between Cam and Matt Rule, because I feel like Matt Rule kind of came up in lower level programs. Baylor was the biggest one he ever worked at or coached at, and he never really had huge big name players. So it's going to be a real learning experience for him as well as how to handle a player of Cam Newton's stature, charisma.
I personally think he's going to do really well, and this is why. Matt Rule, obviously coming from college, you know, he's been in the NFL. This is his second year. You know, he's used to the whole, like, the atmosphere, like with being in college, and just the players, like in the NFL, some players are a little bit more serious. In college, you know, there's, I don't know, it's just a lot more like childlike and a lot more, you know, like you're in college. There's more atmosphere. There's more fun. There's more. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like, I think that he's very adaptable, and I think that he will absolutely be on board with that. And I really don't think he has a choice, because without it, he'd probably be sitting somewhere in Baylor, Texas, or wherever the hell he's from next year if he didn't have Cam Newton on the team. He might be. So he should be on board, because this might be his last opportunity.
No, I agree with that. I don't know if he would have been fired, but I know the fans would have wanted him fired. And this is definitely this is at least a chance for him to win the fans back, because I know he was starting to lose a good portion of them.
Exactly. He probably wouldn't have been fired. I think he would have had another year, but this certainly makes him look better.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, man, absolutely unbelievable week. Literally, I don't know how in the world we got so lucky for this to happen. We have to be living in a simulation for this to happen, but that's a conversation for another time. Maybe we'll have a simulation theory episode next time. Just skip the football talk some.
That's right. I'm all about it, man. Shout out to the Panthers. Shout out to Cam Newton. Shout out to the whole team, man. This was this game right here. This is for the fans right here. This was a much needed game.
Yep.
You know, you only get, you know, maybe one game a year where you absolutely just blow out the other team and you just sit in comfort and watch the rest of the game. And as a Panthers fan, you don't get many of those. So that fourth quarter yesterday, I was on my recliner sipping a beer. I was like, I'm going to enjoy this last 15 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's when you get so intense, man. You're like, don't let them score a touchdown. Like, you know.
Exactly.
You want the big win. You don't just want the win anymore.
No. So, but I'm pumped. Well, we'll see what happens in regards to going to the game on Sunday. But this train is rolling, and you better get on now, because it's getting ready to steamroll over some teams here in the next coming weeks.
That's right. Keep pounding, everybody.
That's right. And I got to say this real quick. This man twice, his press conference and after the game, said keep pounding. And you have the audacity to try to take that out of the stadium? No. Keep pounding is coming back this weekend. And if I've got to be the guy to start it, I will. But it's happening. You cannot take that away. When your franchise player is saying your mantra out there in front of everybody, you got to bring it back. You got to bring it back. It never should have been done away with.
The new era of Panthers management is finding out that there's some things you can't change. Keep
You
pounding
can't change
and Cam
everything.
Newton are two of those things.
And I just have one more thing to say, and then I promise I'm done. I was
Go
I
off.
was on the Carolina huddle the other day, and someone made a form, just said, since we're bringing the whole band back together, and there was a picture of Luke Kuechly. And I know this isn't going to happen, but I just was like, man, just imagine Cam Newton comes back. Luke Kuechly says, you know what? I'm coming out of retirement. Comes back. He's only 30 years old. Comes back on this amazing defense. That would be insane.
I always predicted that Luke Kuechly would come back because he retired so early, but now he's just so far out of football shape, which he's not out of shape, but he's gotten so much leaner and he just spends all his time like fishing or whatever, I guess. I don't know what he's up to these days. That now I'm starting to think maybe it won't happen, but man, that would be pretty cool. I would imagine it would, if it was going to happen, it would, be in the off season. But
Yeah.
man, that would be
No,
pretty cool.
I agree. I just thought that was really cool. At least, hopefully, I expect to see some big names at the game on Sunday. Anyone that's anybody that's from the former Panthers,
sure.
I think will be there.
I would imagine any ex-player who played with Cam in the past 10 years is going to want to be there.
Yes, basically all the players he carried for however long.
Kelvin Benjamin is going to be up there selling popcorn, getting some exercise on the stairs.
Good Lord. Oh my God. But all right, that's all I've got for today. I'm Cam Newton out. Nah, just kidding. I can keep going.
I
But
never get Cam Newton out, man.
never. But man, this was a great win, great week, and I'm looking forward to this week. Looking forward to see what this team can do. This team is finally, living up to what we knew they could be. It's very crazy how things can change so quick in the NFL. You go from wanting to fire everybody to just we need to start fresh to we've got a shot at this thing, and that's where the Panthers are at right now. They're swinging for the fences, and I'm all about it.
Yes, sir. Let's go get this W against the W team. Keep pounding everybody.
All right, I have one more thing to say.
All right, go for it.
I heard this theory the other day,
All
which I thought was actually quite hilarious, that Dan Snyder he's just going to keep it as the Washington football team for just a little bit longer until everyone just kind of forgets. And then he's going to be like, all right, we're going back to the Redskins.
Wait, say that again?
So Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington football team, he has the name as the football team for this many years, and they keep debating, oh, what's the new team name going to be? I can't remember who it was that told me this, but they were just like, give it like another year or two, and everyone just kind of forgets about the whole thing. He's just going to be like, all right, we're going back to the Washington Redskins. The ultimate fucking troll job in front of everybody.
You know what, Tanner? If that happens, I'll come back to this conversation. But I don't think there's any way that anyone's going to.
I think that would be the most hilarious troll job of all time. He's like, all right, yeah, I'll change the name. He changes it for like a couple seasons. He's like, all right, we're going back to it.
What if he just changed it to like the White Skins?
Even better.
That way it's like at least he's attacking the majority instead of a minority.
I don't know. I just think that'd be like the greatest troll job in the history of sports. All right, that's all I've got to say now. I'm done.
All right, Tanner. You sure?
I promise. If I have anything else, I'll go live and make a video. And the thumbnail for this video, I'm not going to make one. Just do the screenshot of Cam Newton with his helmet off going, I'm back.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for watching and keep pounding.
That's right.